Hey guys, welcome! This is our tutorial of the month, the song Nana, a very beautiful song, very special. So there is a lot of nice things going on here. And this is the Simplified tutorial, and I also release a separate tutorial for the Expand tier members, where I really break through the original version. So I want to explain for a second the differences between the Simplified arrangement and the original version. The simplified version is basically I took the chord sequence, but I'm taking out the bass line, alright, because the bass line makes it very difficult and requires a lot of coordination work to coordinate the bass line with the strumming. So in this version, in the simplified version, we're going to play the chord sequence with the strumming pattern, but without the bass line. So it's going to sound like this. So even though this is simplified, I would still say the difficulty level is intermediate. The reason is we have a lot of non-standard chords here. They are not that complex technically, but they will require some time to learn and to memorize and to be able to move around between these different chords freely. So this is going to be the main focus. But of course the result is really beautiful, so it's definitely worth the effort. Also, the strumming pattern is relatively straightforward, so our main focus would be on the left hand, on the chords. And for the Expand tier members, I have also released a tutorial where I explain how to play this strumming of the chords simultaneously with the bass line, and how to work this coordination to be able to play the this is what I mean by the bass line, this. Now, this is the bass line. Here. Okay, so it's like two parts at the same time, the chords and the bass with the thumb simultaneously. That's for the Expand members. Link is in the description. You can check it out if you want to challenge yourself. This is a more like intermediate to advanced level in terms of the technique. Alright, so let's get right into the chords. What do we have here? We have the first chord. You can think about it in different ways. I would think about it as an E minor ninth, but the bass is on the 5th string. So let's see how it looks like. We have the index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Capo is on the 6th fret, by the way. Pinky on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And then the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Okay, and we want to hear the 3rd and 2nd strings open. They give us really nice textures and sounds. This is the first chord, E minor ninth. And we start the strumming from the 5th string. Okay? So this is the first chord, and the second chord we kind of like keep it the same way, but we lift the pinky. So we have the open 4th string instead of the pinky. Okay, that can be a nice start to just practice this. Okay, these two chords are relatively simple to change between. We just lift the pinky. And the second one, by the way, is still an E minor ninth, but also with the 7th. So the open 4th string is the 7th. Let's move through the rest of the chords, and then I'll break down the strumming pattern. The next chord is an A minor 7. Okay, A minor 7 is like an A minor, but without the ring finger on the 3rd string. That gives us the 7th. So this is the chord, and then we add some nice variations on top. We add the pinky, and then the ring finger on the 2nd fret. So we have A minor 7, pinky, ring finger. that gives us a little melody on top. A minor 7 with the pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then with the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And lastly, we have an 𝐷-sus2 chord. 𝐷-sus2 is like a D chord, but without the middle finger on the 1st string, so we have an open 1st string. This is the chord. All of the chord diagrams, by the way, are available with the tabs file, so you can also see it visually and take your time. It takes time to memorize these shapes. And then lastly, the last 2 chords are G and G major 7. Now notice that I don't play the 5th string. It's simply because I want the index finger for this note, which is G major 7. So what I'm doing is I'm slightly blocking the 5th string with the 2nd finger. See? Then it's okay not to use the finger there. We don't really need it. So this would be the way I play G in this context. And then it changes to G major 7, which is with the index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Alright, so these are the chords. Let's go through them one more time, and this would be the first practice. You really want to memorize the chord shapes that it's in your system. It takes some time. You simply go through them one by one, maybe even without any strumming, but just to change the chords. A minor 7, 𝐷-sus2, G, G major 7. One more time, E minor 9, without the pinky, A minor 7, pinky, ring, 𝐷-sus2, G, G major 7. Alright, super, so we have the chords, and now the last thing we need to add here is the right hand, the strumming pattern. 2 options. I'll show you 2 options. The more basic one would be to go bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, bass, down, up. So we do the bass with the thumb, and then the down, up, we want them pretty gentle in this song. So I'm using only 2 fingers, the index and the middle, and I'm really trying to make it very soft. Okay, you don't want like campfire strumming, like you don't want that in the context of this song. We want it more gentle. And you just keep going. Okay, so this is one variation, and in terms of the bass notes, I'm using the bass on the 5th string for all of the chords, even the 𝐷-sus2, still playing the bass on the 5th string, except for the G. On the G, the bass is on the 6th string. You can also see it in the tabs. And then the second variation, and you can play between both variations, if you want to add a tiny bit more energy, you simply do a downstroke instead of the bass. So then we get a... So this gives us a little bit more dynamic range, and you can play a little bit with the amount of intensity in the downstrokes to make it a bit interesting. For instance, here I usually do the first downstrokes pretty soft and more on the bass strings, so we get kind of like bassy sound and then more treble-ish top sound. But it's still more powerful than just playing the bass note. And lastly, you might want to add, if you noticed I was doing some of these brushes. So the brush is basically a slowly released downstroke where I'm using all of the 3 fingers, one after the other, and I usually do it on the 2, so on the second downstroke. That gives us this kind of sound. Spanish. So these are the 3 options. Play with them. If you can do them all, you can also just merge them and play with them as you feel it. But if you find it a little bit overwhelming, which is quite normal because this has a lot of new stuff, this song, especially the chords, then simply stick to the first option for now. Bass, down up, down up. More simple. Keep it simple at first, it's better. So this is 𝐼𝐼, this is the simplified version, and if you want to challenge yourself and if you want to take your coordination and your technique to the next level, then I suggest you check out also the expand tutorial, where I'm basically demonstrating and taking you step by step in the process of building the coordination to be able to play the bass line while also playing the chords. Check it out as well, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep sending the great song suggestions. I'll see you guys next time.